welcome. So excited you're here today. There I am. There I'm not. There I am. Yay. Hi, I'm Faun Finley. Welcome to Backstage Beat. I'm a writer, a performer, dance instructor, which makes me especially excited to be here with the Sri Lankan Dance Academy of New York. Can we give them a quick hand? And before we go a little bit into your history, I will introduce, this is Charya, to my immediate left, to your right, and Dara, dancers. And this is Dilhan, he is master guru and choreographer, and Upala, who is master guru and percussionist. Do I have that right? Excellent. So they are performing at the National Folk Festival today, and are you performing tomorrow too?
Yeah, so we have two things going on tomorrow. We have one workshop, which will be me and Dilhan, and then we have in the afternoon on the family stage a little interactive workshop where the kids can join us, and we'll be teaching basic steps and hoping everyone will have fun. Oh, and tonight, of course, we have one at the lawn stage at 7 o'clock.
Excellent. So please check it out and you even get a chance to participate. So you established your dance academy in 1992. And from what I understand, it's to preserve the culture and artistic expression of Sri Lanka in America, or Sri Lankan people in America. Could you elaborate on that? On how you came to be?
It was actually my mother, Tanya, who founded the Dance Academy in 1992. She had just come to the States, immigrated to New York about 4 years before that, and in Sri Lanka she had been a dancer her whole life, and she wanted to continue that even though she was far from home. And where she landed, Staten Island, New York, just happens to have a very large Sri Lankan community, so it worked out perfectly, and we're still trying to carry it on.
Does anybody else want to add to that, how your group came to be and what it means to you to be doing these kind of performances?
So, coming after her mom, Tanya De Silva, who was the original teacher, we had a few other teachers, and then recently, within the last 5 years, we were blessed with our gurus, Dilhan and Utpala, and we just are making sure to really connect to our roots. We have kids who are ages 4 to our oldest, which would be 29. So it really works out that everybody's coming together and learning about what we have to show them. So,
in this context, could you explain what the role of a guru is? Because people may have a different context for that word.
Yes, actually, I got this chance. It's a very big opportunity to teach Sri Lankan children who live in Staten Island, and so it's a very good opportunity for me to keep my dance alive, keep going, and it's very blessed thing to teach Sri Lankan dance culture to them.
Did you want to add to that?
Yeah, I joined the dance class 2014. Actually, it's very big opportunity to me, and I like to teach kids from it. That's my one of the dream, and in America I can do that because of them.
Very good, very good. Now you do traditional dances, from what I understand, and you've also evolved some more contemporary pieces. Could you share with us what that involves?
right. So we generally do have the traditional Kandyan dance, which is Udarata, which is the upcountry part. But with Dilhan and Utpala, we've managed to choreograph. Dilhan has managed to choreograph contemporary pieces, more fusion, which not only include the live drumming, but they'll include tracks that we get sent from Sri Lanka to here.
Let me ask the audience, who has seen them perform today? Oh, okay, well you're in for a treat. So just to give you a little taste, and this will lead to a question, it's very athletic, lots of power and jumps and spins, and in fact, how do you train for all that? It seems demanding.
So go ahead. so I think when I tell people, oh, I'm a dancer, they think it's like graceful and very like sweet and moving, and then they see me dance and it's all about power. It's about strength and just having force. And I want to say like our movements include stomping and different things, which is different from what you generally see in dancing.
Yeah, I think it's important to note that Canadian dance started out as a male-only performance. So it was originally only performed by males, and it was a temple ritual. So you were invoking gods by doing these steps to these rhythms. So that's why there's so much of that masculinity in the dance that we do. But with Dilhan, our choreographer, he does try to bring
A little bit of femininity
into it, to modernize it a little bit and make it fit a little bit more, but still keeping those traditional movements. Yeah.
And that leads me to another question. I hope the men don't mind me asking, but I noticed that the drumming, is obviously very percussive and powerful. There's some arm movements that you do that are softer. And is that part of the tradition, or is that something you've incorporated yourself?
Sometimes, right? Yes, when we playing drumming, definitely we need to we need to have power and strength. Otherwise, we can't. But sometimes, and also when we playing for it depends. Sometimes we play when we playing drums in parades, we can do drumming like that, but when we play in stage, we do some nicely and dynamics, very important in dynamics for our performance.
So like what he's saying is in Sri Lanka we have parades and where the drummers are, and that is on the streets, on the cement, and they just keep going. That it will be more traditional, more masculine, that'll show. But on stage we want to kind of change it up a little bit, so you see more flowing, different aspects.
Did you want to add?
Actually, Canadian drums and especially Sri Lankan drums playing outside, it's very loud. So in 1960, 1950 something, our gurus, they bring it to indoor. They make the stage dancing. So they make the slow movement, slow rhythms, that kind of thing. But before we played very loudly, because we didn't have the mic for the drums.
Right. Because what he's saying is it wasn't originally for on the stage. It wasn't for performing needs. It was more for communication, for rituals, and more outdoor things. Then they eventually brought it indoors, brought it to the stage, and then it changed up a little bit, and we added some things.
So I was on your website, and on the homepage it says in bold, "Dance is the poetic bearing of the soul through motion." Do you feel that's happening with you? And if so, could you expand on how dance makes you feel when you're performing?
So I know for me, and definitely for all of us, when we're on stage, it's a different feeling. It's really nice to be able to express yourself through these dance movements and to really feel it inside. And one thing that our gurus have always taught us is when you come into the dance studio, when you come on stage, forget about everything else, forget about your work troubles, your home troubles, your boy troubles, whatever. Go on stage, dance your heart out, and we felt that that quote really depicted all of our wants and needs, because we do want to do that. We do want to come onto stage and just forget about everything and make it just about dancing.
Anything else to add, Charlie?
Yeah, I agree with all of that. I think it's a chance to just be free and just have a connection with our culture, which we wouldn't normally have because, Dara was born here. I've been here since I was 6 months old, and most of our students are born and raised in the States. So it gives us a connection to our roots back home that we would really never have without it. And it makes us kind of united with our family back home and our ancestors in a really important way.
So I want to get back to the dance itself. So since either few or nobody has been to a show yet, can you tell them this is why you should come and experience this? Because you really, really should. Your minds would be blown. But that's just one person's experience. So please share what they can expect at a show.
What you can expect from the show is loud energy. We have so much energy. We have different things going on. We have drumming, we have dancing, we have smaller instruments, we have different kinds of drums. And more than anything, we want to make sure that Sri Lanka is properly represented outside of Sri Lanka. We're here in North Carolina, and that's an amazing experience to be able to show everyone what we have to offer. So why not take us up on the offer?
And there are parts of the show that are audience interactive, so if you come, you do get to participate a little bit and be a part of it as well, right?
We have tricks, well not we, but definitely our gurus have tricks and different things that it's worth it. And I hope you take my word for it.
I did see online, I'm not going to hold you to it, but some pretty impressive barrel turns. Where you're flipping your back over yourself. Does anyone know what barrel turns are? They're very difficult, and they're just mind-bendingly exciting to watch in person.
Yeah, so what she's referring to is called a Lankan in Sinhala. And so on stage we'll do spins and different tricks and different athletic movements, and it's different. It's different from what you'd usually see, yeah.
And also it's very hard to do with our costumes also. They are very heavy. And that's also very important thing.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. They are not in their costumes right now, even though they all look beautiful. It's even more of a treat. Do you want to share what those costumes represent? Culturally speaking?
For the Canadian dance, we use a very special costume for the Canadian dance. We call it Vesanu Kattale. It's actually it has a very big story for that. I can explain right now about that. So it's about the king's costume, right? Yes. So it has a very good story. It's very interesting.
It has a meaning in our on the head. We wear a thing, we call it kota. We mean it in Buddhist history. We have in temple we call it chaitya. We mean that chaitya, we wearing the chaitya. Every time we worship that, we respect that. Usually our gurus, if they want to dance, they don't eat meat. During the day they don't eat meat.
On the day they don't eat meat?
Yeah.
Of doing that particular dance?
Yeah. But now it's different. We eat meat.
so it's changed. It's changed. All right. This is a little different from live, but I'm curious. We talked about the traditional dance and more contemporary fusion. I noticed on your video that there were some spotlight dancing. So is that a chance for performers to have their own sense of expression, or is that choreographed for a specific purpose too?
I believe you're referring to our trailer from our first show, which was our Pahim Put. And this was actually one of our biggest and first huge performances self-organized by our company. And what you're referring to with the spotlight dancing were solos that our grooves did choreograph, but they were made up of steps that could be changed up a little bit and made just to fit us. And I remember for my solo, actually the guru who did choreograph my solo was Indika, and he's sitting right there. And I remember feeling that that solo fit me perfectly, and I was able to go on stage and almost I followed after one of the other girls, and I felt something inside me take over, and I was ready for this performance of like, and that was actually one of my first solos ever, so it was really nice. So yeah.
Well, before we open it up for questions, so get ready for your questions, audience. I'm not asking you to perform or dance, but do you think maybe you could hold a position just so the audience could get a feel for the energy of what you do?
So we are actually so we're just gonna show you a little just a little bit of what some movements that we would include in our performances, just so you have an idea.
Dum kita kita dum mi 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 kita dum kita dum ting tak ting dum rum ting rum tak ting tak ni enteng tak ting tak gunta rum tak ting tak tarik kita gunta tak.
Woo, thank you. Little Sri Lankan beatbox. All right, we're gonna open up to the audience. That was amazing. Would you mind taking some audience questions?
Yeah, no problem.
All right. Anybody in the audience have a? Oh, there's one way back there.
Well, I was just wondering, with the classical dance, are there different types of classical dance in Sri Lanka, as such in India there are 5 or 7 or so? And then within that dance you do, are there different styles? And what are the differences between those styles?
So there's 3 main classical dance styles in Sri Lanka. There are other smaller ones, but the 3 main refer to the region of the country that they started in. So Kandyan dance, it's called Udarata, and it's from the more northern part of the country. And then you have Sabragama, which is the middle part of the country. And then you have Patharata, which is the low country. And they all use different drums. And yes, the style of the dance is a little bit different. Your posture is a little bit different for each style, and the hand movements are different. So we train mostly in Kandyan dance, which is the north, but we do low country and middle country too. We try to learn all as much as we can. But yes, the styles are different.
So within those 3 classical, so let's say for example just Udarata, which is the northern part, there's so many different teachers, and each teacher would have a different style of his or her own. So I know some people say, like, us as Dilhan students, like they can see a video of us and they know that we're his students because we have his certain little quirks that make him the dancer he is, that we have it also. Yeah. How do you say English?
What you said, the similar.
Right. So the singular word for that is hada, and it's that like little style. Everybody has a little bit different, but we as his students, we have his style.
And what language, when you're on stage, are you using?
Well, the language that we speak in Sri Lanka is Sinhalese or Sinhala, but on stage we don't really use words. We don't communicate using language.
When you do hear when they say certain things like
we calling it paribhashika vachana. That's mean it's Kandyan dancing, Lokantu dancing, Sabargamu dancing. They all have that words. It's only for the Sri Lankan traditional dance and drum.
Right.
We call it Paribhashika Vachana.
I want all of you to be able to say that right now.
And even when you hear certain things like tajit tonna, that is the word we say for the sound of the drum, right? Yes.
Right. So there's no like written tradition of with the drumming and the music, and so it's not like writing out musical notes. You just make the rhythm, create the rhythm with your mouth first, and then you can play it and dance it.
Any questions in the audience? Going. Okay. All right, well, if we can give another hand to the Sri Lanka Dance Academy of New York for coming out here. And they do have such dynamic range from what you saw on stage to incredibly fast. You do not want to miss it.
So
yes.
What we demonstrated, that was just something so basic, something so small. Like when you come on stage, it's totally different. I just wanted to say that.
Yes. And thank you to Backstage Beat for having this interview, making this interview possible today. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Such a pleasure.
Thank you.